Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot, An Addison Holmes Mystery, Volume 5. Written by Liliana Hart. Narrated by Connie Ventress. Prologue. Tuesday. I was usually a glass-half-full kind of girl, but I was pretty darn sure this was the worst day of my life. Once, when I was 8, I'd decided to be Gene Kelly in Singin' in the Rain. I'd twirled and stomped through puddles with abandon, singing at the top of my lungs. I swung with gusto around a lamp-post, tapping like mad as the rain poured from the sky, until my galoshes got tangled, which is a polite way of saying I tripped over my own feet. I ended up flat on my back and my head hit a rock, knocking me unconscious. My name is Addison Holmes, and I've hit my fair share of rocks. I'm a private investigator for the McLean Detective Agency, and I'm still new to the business, meaning I get the job done, but there are a lot of other people at the agency that do the job better than me. For instance, if you were kidnapped and your life was in danger, I'd more than likely find you, but you'd probably be dead. My stint as Gene Kelly didn't last long. When I came to, I had the mother of all headaches, and my vision was blurry for 3 days. My skin was cold to the touch, and I was shivering uncontrollably. But at least I had all my clothes on, which was more than I could say this time around. I woke much the same way I had that fateful day when I was 8. The pain in my skull was nothing like I'd ever experienced, and my vision was so blurry it took me several minutes to realize I was staring at a beige ceiling and not the gates of heaven, which was good news because I had much higher expectations for heaven. I rolled my eyes from side to side because it was too painful to move my head, and recognition started to kick in. Shower curtain, toilet, sink, dingy towels, tray full of sharp surgical instruments. One of those things didn't belong. My gaze froze on the tray, and I felt panic start to take over. My teeth chattered uncontrollably, and I couldn't seem to function, couldn't get my wits about me. Not having my wits about me wasn't unusual, but this time it was serious. I was in deep trouble, and my charm and adorable personality weren't going to get me out of this mess. I stared into the tub, and my lungs constricted. Blood pumped with a roaring whoosh in my ears, and I tried desperately to suck in a breath. I was naked and buried in an ice bath. High-pitched wheezes escaped from my lips until I sounded like a balloon having the air slowly leaked from it. This was not good. In fact, this was about as far from good as I'd ever been. If my tear ducts hadn't been frozen, I probably would have cried. I rolled my head to the side and tried to listen, to see if I was alone or if my surgeons were still present. But nothing greeted me but silence and my erratic heartbeat. The sign on the door was crudely written with black marker, and it said, "Call 911. Now." An envelope with my name written on it was taped just beneath the sign. Bile rose in my throat, and little black dots were dancing like dust mites in front of my eyes. It was everything I could do to keep the contents in my stomach down, if I even had a stomach. I had no idea what kind of wounds the ice was covering, but I was almost 100% sure that vomiting wouldn't be good for them. I looked at the surgical tray where there was supposed to be a phone, but there was nothing there, only sharp-edged instruments that mocked me. Panic clawed at me again. My ice was going to melt, and I was going to bleed out, and I'd die alone in a bathtub in a 3.5-star hotel. I'd always imagined I'd die with a bit more glamour. It was kind of a letdown. I couldn't die like this. My unwritten biography demanded that I not end my story this way.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.